Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Edinburgh Napier University MBA webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos. I'm the admissions manager at Stafford Associates, and joining me this evening all the way from the university is Mehmed. Good evening to you, Mehmed.
Hi, good evening to you all. Thank you for the invitation, Helen.
Pleasure. And just for all of you that have joined us, Mehmed is the director of the MBA programs at Edinburgh Napier University. And how we're going to conduct the webinar this evening is going to briefly take you through the process or the program. And right at the end of the presentation, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you would like to ask me or Mehmed. What I am going to be doing is actually clustering the questions together, because a lot of the questions are similar, if not identical. So do please listen out for the question and the answer. Okay, I'm now going to get started just briefly on who is Stafford Associates. Okay, well, Stafford Associates was established in 1993, and we are a resource center for distance learning education in the Middle East as well as in Africa. Now, we are currently the resource center for 6 UK universities, one of which is Edinburgh Napier University. And we're actually across 4 continents. So we do assist students basically globally. Stafford offers a variety of programs, starting from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, MECs, right through until doctorates. So we really do have programs for all your professional and your personal needs. Now, our main function here is to assist you throughout your application process, and we do obviously have some administrative support as well as offer some academic advice. I'm now going to hand you over to Mehmed, and I shall be joining you towards the end of the presentation. Over to you, Mehmed.
Thank you very much, Helen. Good evening to you all, and thank you, Helen, for the initial introduction. As Helen mentioned, I'm Mohammed Beja, and I'm the director of the suite of MBA programs that we've got here at Edinburgh Napier University. And really the purpose beyond this session with you, ladies and gentlemen, is to give you a taster of what the university is all about. Well, first of all, really what the UK is all about, what Scotland's all about, what Edinburgh is all about, and then we're going to giving you a bit of background about the university, and then moving on to the importance of MBA and why MBA and why with us. We know what's the significance of you choosing Edinburgh Napier University to study for your MBA. That's really my aim for the next 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to adhere to try to do it within 15 minutes or so if necessary, purely because I'm more interested in answering your questions, because I'm sure you all have some general questions which Helen will be gathering as time goes on in the next 15 to 20 minutes. However, you got to remember you're tailor-making the qualification for yourself. This is for you. This is not for us. This is not for anybody else. And you might have some specific personal questions relating to your profession and to the whole qualification, which you may need to answer. So I'm more eager to have dialogue like that than giving you information which you can find on our website. So we are part of United Kingdom still, and as you know, United Kingdom is part of European Union, and we always will remain to be part of European Union, although UK voted to leave European Union as far as the European Parliament is concerned, and as from 30th of March 2019, we no longer would be part of the Economic Union and be more independent. And all your guesses is as good as mine as to what's going to be like the new life come March the 30th in UK. But as far as we are concerned, economically, academically, nothing will change because we're part of a global outfit. UK consists of 4 nations, which I'm sure you're aware of. One of those nations is Scotland, and we are based in Scotland, and we are in the capital of Scotland, Edinburgh. And I'm quite rough guides actually quoted Scotland to be as the most beautiful country in the globe, and I tend to agree with that. So that's where we are. It's voted the best UK city for the past 3 years as far as Daily Telegraph is concerned, and Daily Telegraph is one of the most respected newspapers within the United Kingdom. And we have the largest festival, international festival in the world during the course of August. And as far as you're concerned, the business is concerned, we are home to more than 100 FTSE, quite a number of 100 FTSE companies, and that's a United Kingdom. So that gives you an idea of small nation of 5.5 million, which is part of the whole United Kingdom, which is consists of about 71 million. To be having more FTSE 100 tech startups outside London than any other city in the United Kingdom will give you the significance of really what Edinburgh is all about and what Scotland is all about. We are the university, Edinburgh Napier University. We started as a technical college back in 1964. And we got our university status in 1983. And we are one of the probably most ambitious universities that you could find in Scotland. And we are in one of the top universities throughout the United Kingdom for employability, which is something we're very, very proud of. And nurturing new talent, it's part of our DNA, and we were awarded a #1 place in 2017 as far as nurturing and nursing student talent is concerned. What we try to do within Edinburgh Napier University is not only to educate, although our job is to educate, but when it comes to programs like MBA, our job is to really try to help individuals to find the ways of building up the necessary tools in order to know what to do with that education. We call that KIP, knowledge into practice. The practicality, how do I turn my knowledge into something tangible to make my profession better, to make my sector better, and to make my own life better. So that's really what the university is all about. And that's why our employability rate is extremely high. At the moment, our employability rate is above 95%. And what that means is our graduates within 6 months of graduation, they're in a full-time job, or they're going to further education. And is that employability rate is something which we pride ourselves on, because the industries out there, private sector, public sector, and the third sector, they all know the MBA graduates are capable of not only have the knowledge, but more importantly, having the understanding and the capability to put that knowledge into something tangible. The university consists of 3 campuses. We are based in the business school, and that's our Craig Lockett campus. You'll find it in the bottom part of your screen. Craig Lockhart is written Craig Lockhart, but in Scotland we pronounce it as Craig Lockett. I remember when I came from a job interview 15 years ago actually now. And when I referred to Craig Lockett as Craig Lockhart, I was corrected. And I'll never forget that that experience of being corrected during the course of my interview. We are known as the business school, so nobody says Edinburgh Napier University Business School. We are known as the business school. So anywhere in Scotland, when they say the business school, or in Edinburgh, when they say the business school, that means Edinburgh Napier University's business school. And we also have our Sighthill campus, our Mercaston campus, which have got this applied scientists and computer based. We have just short of 20,000 students from 130 different nations. And I think the key here is for you to appreciate the number 130. What that means is we're global. What that means is we understand different cultures. We understand different ways of doing things. We are not cocooned into just having a one-size-fits mentality. And what comes with 130 different nations, students from 130 different nations and academics, is that awareness of the working practices, the needs, the cultural issues, so on and so forth. And again, it's one of the reasons we have the strength when it comes to knowledge and to practice. And that's why organizations really respect what we do, because they know that our students are global students. Even our home students, even our local students have the global understanding. We have 13,500 of the nearly 20,000 students studying in the 3 campuses we have. And the remaining 6 or so thousand students are the online students or in the wider universities worldwide. We've got quite a number of partner universities globally. For example, I just come back from Colombo last week. We have a learning center there. And a week before that, I was in Hong Kong, where we have a partnership with Hong Kong Space University. The Hong Kong University is one of the largest universities in Hong Kong. And we have about 3,000 students in Hong Kong alone. So not only our students are global, we are global ourselves, and we continuously evolve around the globe in order to make sure we maintain that competitive advantage that's required. In order to meet demands of our global students and the needs, especially in the 21st century, where everybody are in business of fast tracking, everybody are in business of just for me. The days of just in case are over. We just need to make absolutely everything is done just in time and just for ourselves. And we have to make sure the education that we provide now is tailored to meet those needs. And we created this, what we call a global online suite of programs, which MBA program is one of them. Actually, is the largest. We have a cohort of 983 to be exact. The figure which I've got when I was at our program board last Thursday, of global online MBA students. And the reason we put this program together is to suit your needs, to suit the needs of individuals who don't have, I suppose, the time to be able to dedicate fully to the education without any distractions of work. So because we all live in the environment where there is a work-life imbalance, and we try to do the best we can in order to maintain that balance between work, education, and private life, we've created this online program, which it creates flexibility for any place, anytime, anywhere to be educated. And it's actually making higher education accessible from anywhere, from your iPhone, from your iPad, from on a plane, or from your office, so on and so forth. And we have dedicated features like supportive, like Ask Ben, Global Online Map, or so on and so forth, which is the navigation system, is the sat-nav, is the GPS of really what the program is all about. Not only to just hold your hand, but more importantly, to guide you. Because at master's level, our job is to give you the tools in order to build up the necessary confidence to do what you're doing is done properly. A majority of middle to senior managers who are the portfolio of, I suppose, the profile of our MBA students, they do a good job. They just want to go from good to better. They want to maintain a competitive advantage. They want to make sure that continues to innovate, not for the sake of innovation, but to keep that edge. It's that winning edge, which it gives the drive as far as our students are concerned. We do have a global exposure, and the map in front of you just illustrates the exposure that we have as far as our cohort of students and centers are concerned. So, MBA program is designed to really tailor make your own education in line with your profession or with your future aspirations. You can choose to have a journalist MBA, or you can specialize in one of our 14 specialist MBAs. And regardless of what we do, there are 4 particular modules that all the students have to study, whether they study generalist or whether they study specialist. And those are building high-performing organizations, marketing within the global economy, managing organizational change, and leading strategic decision-making. These 4 modules, regardless of what you're studying, be it MBA in health management, be it MBA in leadership, be it MBA marketing, you got to study, because that's the engine of really what any individual with MBA should have. And research skills for managers and MBA projects, in effect, are the combination of 2 pieces of work, which really it determines the area where you're going to be doing your research on, your thesis is going to be based on. Research skills for managers, in effect, is a scope and study for your project, for your final piece of work, for your thesis. And the research skills for managers will give us an understanding of what you're proposing to study or research or investigate as far as the final piece of work is concerned. Our MBA specialist routes are at the moment in the screen that you can have a look at. That if anybody decides to study MBA in generalist, on the top left-hand side of your screen, you will see MBA, that's the MBA generalist. Then the students have to study 2 extra modules over and above the 4 engine modules and research skills in the project. And there are contemporary issues in strategic management and managing innovation. And the students who go to any specialist routes, then they don't have to study those 2 modules. However, they have to study 2 specialist modules within the theme of what they're going to be specializing in. Please take note that if you're studying the specialist module, your skills managers and your project has to be within your specialist field, because that's what's going to be the whole idea of you being a master within the field that you're in. We have interactive resources online, and those interactive resources, the aim is to really support you with whatever that's necessary. I'm not going to go through this process. I'll just put the screenshot in front of you just to give you an idea of what the technique will look like. Very, very interactive. Once you successfully accept onto the program, we send you an induction material, which we really urge you to study it, to go through it, not so much study it, to familiarize yourself with it. And then you go through the whole process of interactive online resources step by step with a view to being educated. What we will do is we'll encourage you to study 2 modules per semester or per term or per trimester, with a minimum 1, obviously, a maximum 2. We don't really encourage individuals to study more than 2, because again, we are aware of your work-life balance. You know, you have full-time jobs, you have professions that are demanding, and in the same time, you have family lives, and you don't want to overstress yourselves. Because the whole objective behind what you're doing is to become a critical thinker. As a critical thinker, then you'll be able to put that knowledge into practice to create that edge that's required. And we have surgery sessions on a weekly basis where you come online and get in touch with the online tutor, your academic professor, in effect, and exchange ideas, have conversations about what you've been doing. The online materials, because they're interactive, in the same time, they allow you to test yourself on a weekly basis in order to make sure you're on the right track. Education by its own nature at master's level can prove to be at times quite lonely and isolating. Online education becomes even more lonely and isolating. With having the systems in place with our program, it enables you to overcome that loneliness and isolation. And we highly, highly recommend you to join the online weekly surgery sessions for each module, interact with your academic, interact with other students, with a view to really expanding that knowledge field that you have. And more importantly, in my mind, to network, to get to know other individuals. Because what you're dealing with other students who are already middle to senior management level globally. So imagine the network that you can create with them. So there are 11 units per module, and the new units are broken down with components. I've just given you a synopsis of it earlier on, and it's all about learning. It's not just about education. Your job is not just about education as far as we are concerned. It's about learning. How do we help you to learn? Not just learn as creating knowledge, it's into creating the depth of knowledge. It's that understanding. At your level, knowledge alone is not sufficient. It's the understanding of what the whole thing is all about, and what differentiates you from the normal individual is having that capability to become a critical thinker and knowing when to apply the knowledge and why and how. So we have this standard frameworks, discussion, case studies, assessments, so on and so forth. And all of these things, again, work towards getting you to develop further and further and further. We have a calendar for the academic year, and just to give you an idea of what the whole thing will look like. And considering you take 2 modules per trimester, you should technically, within 4 trimesters, or 5 trimesters, be able to complete your studies. But this is a journey. It's not just about the destination. It's a journey. It's an MBA program. This is about going through the journey, taking one step at a time, developing that knowledge bank and developing the wisdom that's required in order to make a mature judgment. And the slide in front of you gives you the synopsis of really how the whole thing will work. You have to please take note, successfully complete all the modules before you can do your research skills for managers, and then your dissertation. You can't do a dissertation project without your research skills, because research skills is the scope in the study, is the proposal of what you're going to be doing. So do please bear that in mind. And we have the introductory videos, Edinburgh clock. So when you go onto our Moodle platform, everything is there. So you know exactly what time it is here, what time it is in your own location, and what you're doing and how you're going to be moving things forward. And you can choose to deal with that the way you want. Please don't try to fast track yourselves by cutting corners, please, because that journey is so fundamentally important. And weekly bite-sized learning is very important, because one of the things that we know is that our students are extremely busy individuals, and this will enable them to make everything bite-sized and test themselves. And it's important to test yourself on a weekly basis and put the result of that test onto the system, because that will enable you to really boost your final, I suppose, grade for each module, because up to 10% of the overall grade for each module is determined by how well you test yourself on a weekly basis. So that's something which you're going to have to really bear in mind. So the places to interact, so there's a myriad of information that tailor-made for you to choose as or when you want to choose in order to make yourself better informed. And the reflective responses are normally something which we get you guys to really try to make time to reflect on what you're doing. There is a big difference between single, double, and triple loop learning. Single loop learning is about what's of life. What something's happened, what is it, what's going on. However, to take that further, by reflecting, you go beyond the thinking of surface, you go into depth, deep thinking, you become a critical thinker, and you move from what into how did problems occur in the first place. Not only now, it's no longer what's the problems, how they come about. And then you go even deeper in the third level, so why did it come about? So it's that symptoms, cause, and effect, which enables you to make sure today's solution is not going to be tomorrow's problem again, firstly, and secondly, to make absolutely sure the problems don't reoccur. But more importantly, through critical thinking and single, double, triple loop learning, by going through reflective learning, you can actually foresee problems and solve them without even other people even knowing that they had the problem. So that's when you become really separated from the norm. And you have modulated online tutor providing you the continuous academic support, and we have a global online team that will look after you administratively 24/7. We always adhere to come back to you within 24 hours, working hours. And any problems, you get in touch with us through our Moodle platform. And please remember, as future students, the buck stops with me. You don't get anywhere, you come to me. And I have the open door policy. You don't even need to go through Moodle platform to talk to me. You just find my email address, write to me directly, and I adhere to come back to you. But please let me know who you are, because I talk to so many people. And again, I adhere to come back to you as quickly as I can. The entry requirements, you need a minimum of 2.2 or better at honors level with required work experience. Anything that falls outside that, it comes into my, I suppose, judgment, and then Helen's team and our admissions team will get in touch with me and say, we got this student, they may not have the relative qualification, but they have the relative work experience, or they might not have the relative work experience, but they have extra qualifications, so on and so forth, and then we judge that in order to help you. And English, if your English language is not your first language, you don't need to undertake an approved language test. However, you need to prove that you can read and write English, and part of education is in English, in English language, or the organization you work for is English speaking. We just don't want to set you up for fraud. We just want you to become successful. And to do that, we have to make absolutely sure we are not compromising you. So the student feedback we've had as far as the program is concerned is fairly good. I'm very happy with that. And the tuition phase, I'm going to leave that to Helen to explain it. She can do the conversions better than I do. So I did adhere to stick to time, and as usual, I try to control myself to hold back, purely because of the passion I have in what we're doing. So I'm going to hand over now to Helen, and between myself and Helen, we're going to try to answer any questions that you have. Helen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, thank you so much again, Mohammed. It was very informative. Okay, so I can see that we have quite a lot of questions. I'm actually going to go right through this. A very important question, is this program accredited by AMBA or Aqueous? Because Stafford has mentioned that there might be an accreditation coming up.
We are working towards accreditation with AACSB, and we are going through the final phase of AACSB. That's something which it reinforces really what we do in Helen. We've chosen quite consciously not to take the AMBA route, partly because AMBA, although the program is at the same level as AMBA, I would say, because I even prepared this program for AMBA accreditation. But because of our global online program, we've decided not to take the AMBA route. Because in order to study global online, AMBA requested 130 hours of face-to-face contact with students. And we thought about how are we going to have a global online, flexible, any place, anytime education where we got to be with the students face-to-face for 130 hours. That's why we didn't take the AMBA route. But AACSB is going through its final stage. There was stage 1, 2, and 3. We've done the 1 and 2, and we're just waiting to complete the stage 3. And hopefully everything crossed, because students, by the time they finish their education, we will be AACSB accredited. We do have involvements with CMI, ILM, so on and so forth, and they're all giving us students purely because they know how good we are.
Excellent. I've been pressurized by my company to finish this program as soon as possible. What is the minimum time period I can complete it? I hope that it is less than 21 months.
It's doable. We have the good thing is, as you know, Helen, the good thing is we have trimesters, we don't have semesters. So within one academic year, or even the calendar year, you can study maximum 2 modules. Say you start in September, study 2 modules by December. This January till May, you study further 2 modules. That makes it for May to August, study another, that becomes 6. And then you move on to what we have 6 modules plus 1 plus 1. So within 3 trimesters or within 3 terms, you study the 6 initial modules. And if it's your specialism, including your specialism, that leaves you the further 60 credits. The further 60 credits, 1 term will take to study research skills for managers. That makes it 15 months. And then 3 to 6 months to study your project. So 18 to 21 months, you will have your project. But I advise you guys, please, please, please enjoy the journey. Enjoy the networking, find out what's happening, do it the smart way. Yes, if you have time constraint, you can do it within 21 months. However, try to maximize the network and try to maximize what others are doing. Learn from others' success and others' failures as well.
Absolutely. And Iman's question is about scholarships. I'm just quickly going to answer that. Iman, do actually contact your local student advisor. We do have an exclusive Stafford grant specifically for students that do register for the next upcoming intake, which is in May. So do get in touch with your academic consultant to give you some details on that. Okay, why are there no examinations in this MBA like all other MBAs?
We do have examinations. They're called time constraint assessments, TCAs. Their pressurized examination is important. However, at your level, we are about critical thinking. This program is about critical thinking. It's about making you to become a deep thinker. The portfolio of our students, online students, they are good at working under pressure. They're good at being able to stand up and deal with things under tremendous pressure. What we're trying to create with yourselves, with our students, is that to develop that necessary skill set that you require. To create the skill sets, you need to reflect. To reflect, you need time to observe, to think. That's why we give you a very, very detailed piece of coursework at the beginning of the semester. And we said, this is what you have to do. And we want you to spend 12 to 14 weeks crafting this, taking every step. Rome wasn't built overnight. Yes, exams are important. No, I don't question that whatsoever. However, the style of this particular program is to get you to think. And once you have that thinking, then we build up your resilience in process to be able to think under pressure, which that's really what the exam is all about, and then to apply that knowledge into practice. That's the ethos behind it. It's a very, very serious matter being a master.
Excellent. If for any reason I need to pause my studies due to work commitments, how long can I pause my studies?
Well, that's a very good question. It's very much on a one-to-one basis. You have up to 2 or 3 years to pause your studies if need be. What we do is again, although we have standards which is set by quality assurance throughout the United Kingdom as being as studying is concerned, we look at each student's circumstances individually. Some people need to pause the studies because of the family commitments. Some people need to pause the studies because they find that's too much. Some people pause the studies because of job location, so on and so forth. Some people take a year out. Some people take one semester out. The facility is there. So what we do is we spend time with the individual. We're not going to tell individuals what to do. It's not my job or our academics job, my team's job to tell anybody what to do. We only merely advise it because we're dealing with highly tuned, mature individuals. You can rest assured that the period is there. The period is there, respectable, I suppose it's not the right word for it. Achievable period is there if you have any circumstances. You can even exit. You can even exit if you have certain level of credits. We can even give you a postgraduate certificate or a postgraduate diploma. You can go and come back several years later even, and then ask to top up to MBA to get your master's. Obviously, you're going to have to give that qualification back. So it's totally flexible. When we mean it's flexible, we mean it when we say it. I don't know if I answered the questions or not, question right or not.
You did very well there. Thank you so much, Mohamed. The next question, and I think there's about 2 or 3 of them that are very similar. Firstly, will my degree state online distance learning? And secondly, will my transcript have an actual grade, for example, 80% or 70%, or will each module just say pass or fail?
As far as the qualification is concerned, an MBA, whether you've done it distance learning or whether you've done it face-to-face, it makes no difference because the integrity of the program is exactly the same. So your qualification will say MBA, whether you're full-time here or whether you're online. No mention of the mode of delivery because it's not necessary. As far as the grades are concerned, at master's level, we don't have percentages. We work on P's and D's and F's. F's are fail, P's are pass, and D's are distinction. And they're graded at P1, P2, P3, P4, P5. P1 being the lowest grade of pass, and P5 being the highest grade of pass. And they're within brackets, 10% brackets. And then we have distinctions and we have fails. Your qualification, the overall qualification as far as the certificate's concerned will either say MBA pass or MBA distinction. In order to get distinction, I don't like to play percentage-wise, but majority of your studies, majority of your modules has to be over 70%. Plus your actual project has to be over 70% as well.
Okay, excellent. Okay, does the university accept any credits? I do have a postgraduate certificate from an institution in Ghana. Will I be able to get any credits?
Yes. What happens is, vary yourselves, Helen. As you know, the information will come to me. We have to verify that qualification. We have to make sure the qualification that the individual is studying maps onto our global online program or MBA program. And if it maps, then we can give what we call RPL, related prior learning. And it can go right up to 100 credit rating. 100 credits out of 180 credits. So it depends. So again, it's on one-to-one basis and we look at it individually.
Excellent. And is there any way that I can contact tutors besides the online platform, example by Skype or by phone?
As far as I'm concerned, I said earlier on, Helen, I'm an open door. Anybody can have Skype call with me. Anybody can call me. Anybody can send me an email. However, as a student, when it comes to my team, my academic colleagues, my administrative colleagues, what I suggest is to do everything through Moodle platform, communicate with us through our platform, through our dedicated email that we're going to be giving you, purely for your safety and security and authenticity, and in the same time making absolutely sure we can respond to your email immediately. We have a team of dedicated individuals dealing with that. But as far as I'm concerned, just call me anytime.
Okay, what activities are covered in induction? Is it important for me to attend this?
Absolutely, absolutely non-negotiable. We highly recommend individuals go through the induction. The induction will give you the roadmap to your education whilst you're with us. Induction will show you ways of how to do the job smartly. If you don't do your induction, you will struggle. If you don't do your induction, you will have problems. Purely because without the roadmap, you've been uncharted waters and uncharted territories. In uncharted territories, without satellite navigation system or roadmap, you will struggle. You might get to your destination eventually, but in a very hard way. Our masters do things smartly. So yes, it's an absolute must to do the induction, please.
Okay, and Lopez, I'll answer your question. If you need to see any of the tutors or visit them on the campus, you can get in touch with them and see if they're available for you to go and see them. Okay, as Mehmet said, the doors are open. They like to see students, but you need to email them and make sure that they are available to see you. Okay.
Helen, last semester I had to interject. Last semester we had an online student who was over here on business in UK, and he extended his business trip by 2 weeks because he wanted to come to the university to really get the feel of it. We invited him. He's already had the visas and everything organized from his own end. We invited him to come, and I've actually said as a guest, come and sit in our classes. For a couple of weeks, he actually sat as a guest student with our students and got involved. You're not precious. You're part of the learning community here. And once you get your MBA, you're going to be part of alumni community for the rest of your life. Your matriculation number, you have it for life. 10 years after your education, as an alumni, all you got to do is send us an email with that number, and we know exactly who you are.
Absolutely. Excellent, good. And there's similar questions with regards to entry requirements on a non-standard basis. I'm just quickly going to answer that. If you have 4 or more years very good, strong managerial working experience, but don't have a undergraduate degree, do get in touch with your academic consultant, and we will be able to advise you on how to apply for this program on the basis of your working experience. Okay, so do get in touch with us on that. Okay. Throughout my studies, will I be asked to physically be at the university? I know this is an online program, but some universities do ask students to come for a couple of hours at the campus. Is this the same with this university?
No, this is not a blended online program, it's a pure online program. You will be, however, upon graduation, you will get an invitation to come and join us for the graduation and bring a loved one or two as well in order to celebrate that. And that again is an invitation. You can choose to come and collect your qualification from our chancellor or be posted to you. And that's the only invitation you have. But it's not mandatory for you to come to for any visits.
Okay, excellent. And just regarding the graduation, if you cannot attend the graduation, which I can see is a question of one of the applicants here. If you cannot attend the graduation, your university will be able to send the degree certificate to you. Yeah, so obviously you'll be in touch with the graduation department and you can actually organize that. And following that, questions about getting letters to, get visas to go to the graduation. The university admissions department, as well as the support, can give you relevant letters that you can obviously give to the relevant people to get your visa to go to the graduation.
You're absolutely right, because we do that even for overseas students who come on campus. because quite a lot of them, they graduate and they want the parents here, they want the husband here, they want the wife here. They might be in India, they might be in Africa, they might be in Canada. So once the invitation comes, what comes with that invitation is something which has got a stamp on, the university stamp on. And that invitation would allow the individuals to apply for the visa, and they're given that visa quite quickly, and including the loved ones as well.
Excellent. And a question regarding the assignments. Can I get an extension on an assignment if I really need it? Or is it strictly that we have to submit it on due date?
When we say certain date, it has to be submitted, it has to be submitted within those days. However, things can go wrong as far as life's concerned. If you have an extenuating circumstance, if you have a mitigating circumstance, then you put an application in, it's called fit to sit, and say for these mitigating reasons, I'm unable to submit on time. That will go to a board of individuals who judge as to whether or not that circumstance is valid. And if it's deemed as valid, you get an extension. Yeah.
Okay. And which, Jan, regarding your duration of the program, I know Mehmet has actually mentioned that before in one of the prior questions. But do get in touch with your academic consultant to actually explain to you how the structure of the program actually works. And you can't really complete it in 6 months or 9 months or even a year. So you have to obviously take how the modules are run into consideration in trimesters. And also, you don't really want something to be rushed. Am I right, Mehmet? You want to actually take your time to be able to understand every module that you're doing so that you can complete the program successfully. This program is not for you to be rushed and to fail any modules. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mehmet.
Yeah, absolutely correct, Helen. I mentioned this earlier on. It's a journey. This is not about the qualification. Your challenge starts once you have the badge of honor after your name, MBA. It says Master of Business Administration. On the back of that badge of honor, you will get that promotion. On the back of that, you will get that desired job. And if you can't deliver, your job, your duration, your job becomes extremely limited. They pay high premium to MBA graduates because they know they have the capability to make changes. They have the capability to make things different. To do that, you need time to do critical thinking. To do that, you require reflection. It's not just a qualification, it's a journey. And you can't fast track this purely because what we don't want is we don't want to compromise you. There is none of this. You're gonna join us, come and join us as a Master of Business Administration graduates. Because of this qualification, we're going to give you this post, and you're going to have to, from day one, hit the ground running. So it's not just about knowing what it is, how it's come about, why it's come about, and it's that critical thinking. I can't stress more, Helen. It's so fundamental, that reflective and critical thinking.
Absolutely. And Wilberforce has got a follow-up question to that. In this case, what is the failure or dropout rate for this MBA?
We got one of the healthiest completion rates. And bearing in mind, we got 130 different nations, 130 different nationalities. Just as I said, I came over from Colombo last weekend. I was with some of our online MBA students, and all the ones coming from that center of ours, they have 100% completion rate. Our completion rate is very comparable to completion rates throughout the nation. The completion rate, it's up to you. This is something which is tailor-made. It's not about whether you can complete or not. People's circumstances, your circumstance, whoever you are, for example, is different to somebody else who's sitting next to you. Yes, we have got exit strategies in place for you guys. 60 credit postgraduate certificate, you can exit. 120 credit postgraduate diploma, you can exit. 180 credit MBA, finish. It's about what you want to do. Don't invest your time, your energy, your money to something that you don't have the capability to see it through. We will help you, we will guide you, we won't force you, because as individuals, it belongs to you. That qualification belongs to you. We are merely facilitators. We mean business. And please, 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 I urge you, before you start, think about, am I going to do this journey? We don't know what's around the corner. At times things happen and people's circumstances change, and we give them extensions or we give them timeouts, so on and so forth. But if you set out yourself up for fall, nobody ever plans to fail, but at times we fail to plan. Please do your planning correctly right at the beginning. I promise you, you will complete.
Excellent. Very good advice there, Mehmed. And one very final question, as I've managed to group them all together. So one final question. Do I get issued with a student card? This is very important to me.
Well, it doesn't matter where you are. You're a student. So you have your own student card. You have all the privileges that goes with the student cards, discounts, so on and so forth. And when you decide to come and visit us, that student card you better have that in your pocket, because we have an open door policy at the university level. However, everybody who come in, at times, if the security people want to know who you are, they'll ask for your student card, and that's your ID. That's your library card when you come here. So yes, everybody will get a student card with their picture on it as well.
Excellent. Okay, brilliant. Well, I've managed to group all the questions together. Thank you again for attending. It was great. So the questions were very good. Again, Mehmed, very informative. We are currently accepting applications for the May 29 intake, and it's actually filling up quite quickly. So do send in those application documents and get that very important unconditional offer. If you have any questions, my email address is there. Please feel free to contact me, or you're very welcome to contact Mehmed as well. Again, thank you, Mehmed. Good evening to you.
My pleasure, Helen. Thank you for your time, and thank you very much for all the participants' efforts.
Pleasure. Thank you, and good evening to all.
Good evening to you too. Thank you.